Hello and welcome everybody to the newest, latest installment in the incredible adventures of the unsinkable Alice Baker, Brushstrokes Part 4. It is a day, the day that you have decided to return to Le Petit Jésus, the spiritual abode and shop run by Maman Laveau, no first name, who is a voodoo priestess from the Deep South, ex-slave, and has been living in New York for quite a long time. And you have come because you would like to inquire about...
any kind of ways how we can figure out if the daughter of the paint maker is possessed.
Indeed. So basically, Maxine has let you in. You are sitting on the sofa, on the settee, and Maman Laveau comes in, sits down, and she says to Maxime, "On prend un café," and Maxime goes away and makes coffee. And then Madame Laveau, out of blind eyes, looks at you and says, "Ah, it is so good to see you two. How can I help?"
To see you. We're happy everything is as it should be here. It's been a while. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
Of course. What can I do for you?
Well, as usual for me, as it seems, not an easy thing. I met a young girl, and I'm a little bit suspicious that at least the mind of the girl is not like it should be. And well, I'm curious if I would call it if she's possessed by something, because she switches between herself and something or someone, and I have no idea if we can find out if there is something there or if it's just her mind. Would you have any ideas on how we can find out, or is there anything that could give us a hint if everything is okay or not?
What is it in her that, like, what does she talk about when she is somebody else, as you say?
Well, she's talking about basically the world is ending, that a king will come and the world will change. It's already changing. And she's talking about places that are non-existent.
So basically you get now coffee and, milk is poured, sugar is given, and she stirs her cup and she says, "The world is ending and a king is coming, and there's talk of a world on places that don't exist." And then she puts down her spoon and she looks at you and she says, "The Catholic Church has made a 2,000-year-old franchise based on those ideas exactly."
Well, she was always very believing, but it completely went out of control.
So you think this king that she's talking about is not the Lord Jesus?
No. Definitely.
Do you know
not.
anything else about this king?
Well, he is a yellow king, or the king in yellow. And the place she's talking about is called Carcosa. And honestly, when we look outside, we know weird things are happening at the moment, so we are not sure. It might be that someone did a ritual on her or with her. Her father took her place, and now he's missing. And we know that weird things were happening in that warehouse.
What was happening in that warehouse?
We are not 100% sure. definitely some bloodletting, and the body was found. No, there was no. Was the body? No, it was found in
There was
water.
one body was found in a warehouse. That is
In
the
the
body
warehouse
of
the painter.
Paint
No, of the
maker.
paint maker.
and the wife of Albus Craig. Her
That-
body was
no.
found in the
Yeah.
Hudson.
No, the paint maker was the one Alice is thinking about, and he did not really have any blood in him, as it was like he was sucked out, and well, there are a lot of weird things happening at the moment. I'm really a little bit worried for the girl, and if there's any way someone can help, or we can help her or not, because I think she's going more and more insane every time.
Well, I will not lie to you. The King in Yellow is not one of mine.
I was quite sure. Everything I heard didn't sound like stories I would suspect
He
coming
is
from you.
very powerful and very dangerous.
Okay.
He is chaos itself. Think of him as the force that destroys all order. So order dissolves over time. In the end, there is just chaos. But he is that chaos. If that chaos hits an orderly world, that world will go haywire. You don't want this.
Well, it's happening already.
What does the girl say about her relationship with that entity?
That is a very good question. I have no idea. Honestly, as a player, I would need to re-hear everything because I didn't take detailed notes on what she said.
Well, basically, she says that he's going to come and he's going to raise up those that are small and bring down the mighty, which in and of itself happens in a lot of religions.
Yeah. Was there anything sticking out that she was important?
She did say that she went to the warehouse with her father,
Yes,
that there was
but
such a beautiful painting.
Yeah, but she didn't have the idea like, I don't know, the Yellow King will come and make me his princess bride or something like that. There was nothing.
No, but
Good.
if you think about it, and you would have, she went there 3 weeks ago with her father to look at the
I
painting.
know that. But that
So
was
it's-
not the question Madame Lavant asked. She asked what she was talking about and if
No, but
she
I mean-
was...
Just so that we're clear, the painting cannot be the one that's in the Met.
Yeah, it's clear because it
Okay.
was already in a museum when it happened.
Okay.
But we don't have a painting, we don't have a painter, we just have an empty warehouse where something...
No,
was
you don't know if the warehouse is empty. You never went.
The police officer didn't say anything.
No, but you didn't ask.
Well, there is still the to-do to go there.
Yeah.
But if
Well,
there was
I mean-
something there, it will not be there anymore because they have confiscated it for sure. Because police would not leave stuff in a warehouse, they would bring it.
I mean, the one thing that you could ask her point blank is, what do you want to do? Or what does the king want with you? Maybe she's seen him directly.
Well, Alice is here to find out if we can help the girl. That's the reason why she's here. She
Well,
just wants to know
If the
there's...
king has his eye on her, there is nothing you can do except
I'm
take
not
her away.
I'm not sure he has an eye on her. I think that her father pushed her, maybe. Or used her for something. Although I think he had the good belief that whatever they did would heal her. Because she was mentally insane already longer ago.
The only thing that I can suggest is that you talk to her, because the king in yellow does not possess anyone.
Okay, so it's not...
He draws everyone to himself. He's like an infectious disease.
Well, you see, the world is changing, at least at night time. You can see bits and pieces appear and disappear again. If you've read the news, you've seen it maybe yourself.
Yes. The news such as I can see it.
Okay, so no possession. That would have been an easy way out.
Not all possessions can be broken.
Well, then we will have to see what happens to her now. If her father is dead and no one is there to take care of or pay. Well, thank you for taking the time.
You're more than welcome.
And take care and watch out, especially at night.
I will.
And Alice would get up. I'm not sure if Dottie has anything, but I suspect Dottie is rather quiet, probably around Mademoiselle Lavant.
She is, especially also around Maxine.
I will look at Maxine and thank her for the coffee and give her a big smile, and then we would leave. The cab driver, we told him to wait outside.
So where would you like to go?
Home, because it's daytime. We went there in the morning, didn't we?
Okay, so you go home.
We're thinking about dates. Do we already have the weekend? Because on the weekend the artist would come by to do...
I'd say it's probably at this stage Friday.
Okay.
Because
so
you
come
had...
by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, Dottie, then maybe after lunch get into clothing that is not as recognizable as what I'm wearing now, and then let's visit the warehouse district.
All right.
And we should be out there good point before it gets dark.
Before it gets dark?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, except there's a lot of police around. Let's see.
Okay.
So
lunch
first. And then Alice would go upstairs and would switch clothing into something much more grey mouse attire, something that would not stick out. And also doesn't look too high class, because the warehouse areas usually is not for ladies. So
you dress down?
Yeah, dress down quite a bit. Also no lipstick, and makeup also toned down. And then having definitely flashlight, lockpick, and my gun, and no walking cane with me. And yeah, let's get a cab. And as usual, we would not have him stop or drop us off directly there, but somewhere like a block away, and would ask them to wait.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you go there. Lunch is normal, lunch is nice. You then go to the warehouse.
Yeah.
The warehouse, you know the address, because you were told that no one in their right minds would go there if it says police line do not cross. You see the police line do not cross line.
Yeah, so we would take a stroll around, probably.
And it's actually quite desolate. It's deserted. There is nobody there.
Also no police?
No, especially no police.
Okay. I think then we would wait for a moment where maybe no one is around, also on the street, and we would cross the police and see if we can get inside the warehouse.
The warehouse has one of those huge doors that you pull open. And Um,
If it's locked or if it has like a side entrance.
you can actually manage to get in there, no problem.
Okay.
Mhm.
Then we would slip inside and close the doors behind us. So if someone walks by or police show up, they would not be freaked out why the doors open.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a question how dark it is in here. If it's dark, we would switch on. Probably.
No, it actually isn't because it's got tall windows and the light
and
is
it's still
flooding in.
daytime.
Mhm.
So yeah, then it would be having us walk through the warehouse and keeping eyes open on probably like blood stains on the floor or thing like that, because the police honestly wouldn't worry about cleaning that up. Or any markers from the police as well. Might be that they left markers there or something like that.
What you do see is this, this chalk outline of someone who has a body that has been found, that kind of thing. Yeah. And other than that, people have been walking around. You can tell there are some discarded cigarette butts and that kind of thing.
Do we find any kind of art supply? Paint
You do.
or brush, or do we see...
You find easels, you find paint, you find brushes.
Okay. If we have paint, is it labeled by our paint maker or is it different paint?
It's normal run-of-the-mill paint,
Okay.
but give me a roll, a spot hidden.
So, let's see. A success.
In one of the paint drums, you actually find residue of normal paint. It's there.
So they've been around for sure, Dottie. I think I need to very innocently ask the inspector again what else they conversated next to the body.
Let's make a spot hidden, everyone. Come on, children. Ooh.
I should... You go away. I don't want to roll an 8 again. Thank you. That is a success.
Normal.
Yeah. I rolled a
Okay.
50.
You look around. And you notice something odd. Because the walls are grey. Somebody has grey washed, as it were, the brickwork. However, there's a patch that looks a lot less dull. Like maybe somebody painted over that more recently. Most recently, in fact.
I think Alice would pull out her pocket knife and just scratch a little bit carefully on the area and see if there's any paint under there.
It comes off really easily, and underneath it you see color coming out. Not the brick, but definitely somebody has painted over the brickwork and then painted over the painting.
Alice is just looking at the wall, and I guess it's a big painting. It's not like a little...
It's not as tall.
Pocket-sized
It's not as
painting.
tall and not as wide as the ball, but it's sizable.
Dottie, what do you think if the police come back here and suddenly there's a painting on the wall?
I don't know. Maybe they'll sell it if it's good.
The other option would be we talk to the inspector and they officially clean it up.
I leave it up to you.
Alice would have a look around. If there's paint and so on, there might be cleaning stuff as well. Would she be able to get like a sponge and a bucket of water.
Yeah.
Okay, then she would do that, and she would start with a sponge in one corner and see if she can only get rid of the gray paint, not everything. Depends on what.
You can, because you soon see that the paint underneath the gray that you're removing
It's different.
is different. It's very vibrant, and it pops out. It's probably normal paint.
Then I will get a second sponge, throw it over to Dottie, plonk the bucket in the middle. So then let's clean this up. And hope we don't go crazy seeing and whatever there will be there. Still curious, where on earth is the painter? He must be still around somewhere.
You do that. You spend the better part of an hour.
Mm-hmm. And we're careful, so
yeah,
it's really carefully, bit by bit.
Make a luck roll.
God, I just reduced my luck. Let's see. That's a 1 on the die.
Okay.
We are lucky.
Okay, so you are lucky. You see a painting come to light in the real sense of the word, and you recognize instantaneously that it's Casilda.
Okay.
Casilda is wearing a bride's dress, and she's standing next to a tall, very thin man in a yellow gown with a pallid mask. Dottie has not been so lucky. She has rolled a 75.
Oh God.
She gasps and she says, Alice, look at this. Look!
Maybe you should not look that close, Dottie. Let's turn around, take a breather.
She has taken off the paint on the other side of the painting, and it turns out she has uncovered a completely different painting.
Oh.
She's uncovered a painting of a bed, a four-poster bed, with a woman inside on the bed. It is and next to that bed you can see a painting. The painting depicts Albus Craig. And the woman in the painting is the painter that you asked and commissioned the painting of Maeve of.
I was afraid so.
And now you can make a spot hidden.
Alice will
So
walk
Penelope
over
Smithers is the lady.
Yeah,
in
it's
the painting.
Penelope. Alice will walk over and she will place a little bit, maybe to calm Dottie, her hand on her shoulder, just to like. Can you say another spot hidden?
Okay.
Let's take you. I haven't used you. Oh, holy hell! That's an 8, which is a critical success.
Okay. Because, first of all, again, the technique on both these paintings is exquisite. They are beautiful. They are painted in a completely different style than the ball.
Yeah.
But they're both masterpieces. And you look at the painting of Penelope Smithers and you see that it seems to depict a corner room because there are windows on both sides.
Does the room faintly look like the warehouse room that Albus rented?
Not at all. It looks like a high-class, high-end bedroom. And there are 2 windows, like so. And out of one window, you see the Chrysler building. And out of the other window, you see the American Radiator Building. Now, you know what the Chrysler Building looks like. And I found a really nice 1927 Art Deco painting of the Radiator Building. And I'm going to put it in the chat.
I'm just thinking about which of the pretty buildings that would
This was
be.
drawn by Georgia O'Keeffe. Radiator Building, Night, New York, 1927. And you, Alice, would have seen this because this is a really iconic painting, apparently, by Miss O'Keeffe.
Yeah.
And this is what the Radiator Building looked like in 1927. And you know where they are. And you can kind of guess where this room must be, or where the building must be positioned for somebody to have this view. On the one side, you see this building. On the other, you see the Chrysler
So
Building.
I would know which street corner.
You would be able to,
probably,
and especially with a 08 or 0 whatever. Yeah, you know exactly where this would be.
Gosh darn it, now we need to talk to the police. And then I would point out also to Dottie what I've seen. I know at least the building, I'm quite sure. Not which floor, although height-wise it must be probably higher up, because if you're too low you wouldn't see the buildings. I think Alice would just look at the paintings for a little while longer, and then she would probably grab Dottie that it's time to leave.
What are we going to do now? And what does any of this mean?
Well, so far we know if people are in the painting, they are not alive anymore.
But
Which
Casilda is.
That's true. Well, I suspect that depicts the king, which makes her important.
Make an idea roll.
Okay. What is happening? I'm switching dice, I promise. I rolled a 9.
Okay. Well, you recall one thing instantaneously from the translation that Laura did for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that is that whoever uses real paint can paint and make real whatever they want, and everyone will do whatever they will and will flock to them. So it could be that these paintings depict either a desired future, which may already have become reality in the one case, but also it could be that the painting of Casilda and the king is something that he has promised the king
to happen.
And remember how she said that she and her father went to see the painting.
Yeah.
And her father was promised that if he created the paint one more time, his daughter would be saved.
Which is not happening, at least not really.
Or maybe this is saving her, but in a very different way than the paint maker thought was going to happen.
Halfway leaving, Alice would stop and turn around and would look at Dottie. Should we change the painting?
How?
Well, we still have real color here, and we have a whole bucket back at home.
Alice, in the translation it said that if you do this, if you use it, you're damned. You will not touch that. It contains human blood. Are you crazy?
I kind of wish at least that we could save her, and she would point at Casilda.
Well then, maybe just get her and hide her or something, but don't ever use that paint. You can't. Seriously, I'm not joking, you mustn't.
You know that I'm already damned anyhow after all I've been through, right?
this is different. Alice, this is very different. I mean, seriously, no. If you do this, I will leave. I will not watch you go down that road and become like Albus Craig.
I think he was creepy before all of this happened, to be honest. I don't think that was the paint.
Yeah, but I mean, what's going to stop you? What else are you then going to paint? Are you going to paint Matthew by your side?
She would grab Dottie. Breathe.
No,
breathe.
I'm not. And she basically tries to wiggle out of your grasp.
Alice will hold on. Could you please let me finish my sentence?
Not if you're talking rubbish.
The other option is, do we want to destroy it?
I'm all for destroying this. And maybe we should continue in the museum.
Sometimes it's worth listening to someone finishing. And she will
Not
give
if the first
Dottie a smirk. I will let go of her that she can move.
She looks at you and you can see she doesn't find the humor in this at all.
I highly doubt everything is true that's written down. It's always exaggerated in stories. But then let's see, how can we destroy this? Should we have the police have a look at it first?
And do what with that? I mean, maybe you should point out the 2 landmarks, and maybe if they go to that building, they will find.
That was the idea. The question is, well, something in me is worried that if we, I don't know, like erase her face, not Penelope, but Casilda's, I'm worried that it might happen to her.
What?
Well, if we scratch off the paint.
That she loses her face?
Maybe. We have no idea how they are linked.
Well, Casilda is, as far as we know, still alive in the asylum. So this hasn't come to pass. True. What if we erase him?
That is much cleverer, Dottie. That's why I have you with me. Because we don't care if it hurts him or not, do we?
I honestly don't.
Then Alice would go back to all the paint supplies and she would look around if there is like turpentine or something to clean brushes.
There is.
And she would pour that in a bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Because, it's not nice on the hands, but it doesn't destroy your hands immediately if you are a little bit careful and wash your hands afterwards. And she would take a sponge and a turpentine and would see if she can, like, erase part of probably his coat, first of all, of his clothing, to see if it washes off or not.
Actually, it doesn't even touch the core of the painting nor its surface. It stays as pristine as always.
Then Alice would switch around. She would pull out her knife again.
Mm-hmm.
And see if she can scratch.
Yes, you can. And the paint does come off.
That will be tedious
Make
work.
a pout check.
That's a success. 46 is a success.
24. That's a success.
Dottie is fine.
Dottie is very fine. That's almost a critical success.
Looks like we need to come back with proper equipment.
Make us
with this and a small pocket knife. She's just looking at really the Swiss Army knife is like, we will be here for weeks to have the paint off. You said spot hidden again. That is a success.
Okay. I spend for luck.
Okay. No, I'm too far away to spend luck.
Nein, nicht 11, 34. Bep. All of a sudden, you notice that Dottie goes completely rigid and she stops breathing. And she grabs your hand.
Yes.
She says, whatever you do, do not turn around.
Because?
He's here.
Alice will freeze for a moment as well, just to think what she would do. I think her instinct would be to pull the gun and turn around.
Okay. Then you pull the gun and you turn around.
Even though Dottie will probably slap punch whatever her forward, probably rightful so, because Alice was torn between just go on scratching, he might disappear, although it will take a long time. And then she's like, that's her way how to handle bad guys. Turn around. Weapon in the face.
You turn around?
Yeah, she would turn around.
All right.
Her revolver drawn, really on point, so she has it up.
In front of you, you see a man.
Mm-hmm.
In this time medieval garb. You know how they had those kind of like before the French Revolution, those kind of like knickerbocker type short trousers that the men wore, and then the knee socks, kind of like almost like tights.
Mm-hmm.
And that one is red. So he's wearing red knickerbockers and white tights, and he is wearing a yellow garb over it. And he's very tall, very thin, and he's got a white mask over his face where you can only see 2 dots where the eyes should be. There is no mouth, no nothing. And he looks at you.
Alice would just pull the trigger point blank and try to shoot him right between
then
the non-existing eyes.
The eyes are there. They're just 2.
Yeah. So, but the mask definitely you can see. So hitting the mask
please
is
make an attack roll.
Let's see. Handgun. That is not a success. That is a 74. That is definitely a miss.
Okay, so the shot goes wide.
Yeah.
Also, you think, because you honestly don't know. It's just you don't see a result.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to impact. He takes a step towards you.
I think.
And then you hear a voice saying, "Have you seen the yellow sign?"
Alice would try to ignore
Make a power check.
Because she would like to animate Dottie to run. That is a success with a 19. It is even a hard success on her power.
Then let's see. Okay. So what do? He's taking another step.
The moment, so even before he takes the next step, so she at least tries not to care if he talks or not. She would shove Dottie and like run. And then probably rather pull Dottie, because I'm not sure if Dottie will go into running.
Let's see how Dottie feels about this man. Okay. You hear another voice. You hear the same voice saying, "Oh, but she's mine."
Let it be at least not another voice, not too often.
No, it's his. "Oh, but she's mine." And he suddenly appears right in front of Dottie.
Oh, I'm standing next to her.
Yeah, then he's right in her face.
Then he will have a gun at his head, because I'm standing right next to him.
He puts out his hand like so, like somebody is asking someone else for their hand in marriage or for a dance. Let's
Has
see how
Alice
Dottie feels
the-
about all of this. Yes, you can keep doing it. You can keep doing
Alice
it.
would pull the trigger, and she would also just say, "You already have a bride. Is one not enough?"
You pull the trigger, okay.
And she pulls the trigger.
You don't need to. You don't need to roll. You're doing it point blank.
wanna roll.
Okay, then please do. But at advantage
It's a
because
4. Without
Okay.
advantage.
then make an advantage. Maybe you get a 0, 1.
No, probably. No.
No,
The other
okay.
one is a 89. We ignore the advantage roll.
Okay, but that's a hard success, a 0, 4, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. The critical success.
Oh, critical. You
Yeah,
hit.
critical. Does the mask at least shatter or anything? Does the sound of the gun maybe distract Dottie?
Dottie is frozen in place. She hasn't taken his hand.
At least that.
He turns to you and he says, "Shatter? Mask? What mask?" "There is no mask."
Alice will try to focus on Dottie, not on him.
Mm-hmm.
And she will probably kind of like tackle shove Dottie. So like when you run into someone to just get them in kind of motion. So her focus at the moment is get Dottie out of here.
"Stay here, grow old and die, or come with me and be my eternal queen."
Alice will not answer. She will.
He's not
As I
talking
said.
to you.
Then she will shove, carry, whatever, pull Dottie.
Okay.
Her goal is
Make
that
one more
especially
power check.
Dottie is not focusing on him anymore. That's the main. At the moment, it's not important if she hurts her, if she gets bruised. She doesn't care.
Do you say anything to her?
She will just yell at Dottie, "We need to get out of here." That would be all. And I rolled a 14, which is a hard success. I could make it critical if it changes anything.
Okay. No, you don't have to, because you have been lucky, the two of you. I have rolled 4 power checks for Dottie. She's passed every single one of them, and you've passed all of your power checks too.
Yeah, my power is much lower than Dottie's. So.
Yeah, Dottie, but even now, the last one was 77, so
Okay.
still a pass though. You managed to move Dottie.
I would grab her hand, pull, and run.
And you hear a voice in your head. It's the same voice.
She will try to ignore it.
"Never come between the king and his bride."
I think he would hear an F you. I've faced other gods, and you are just a mere king. That would be what she would be just calling out while running, without turning around.
Do you run out of the building?
Yeah, the idea is to run out of the building.
Run out of the building. And you stand. You expect to see the harbor area because you are in a warehouse on the wharf again.
Let's say Alice is hoping for it. But she's
You're expecting it,
skeptical.
kind of hoping
Yeah.
it. But you step outside and you suddenly see a really strange landscape before you. You see a huge body of water, like a lake.
Mm-hmm.
On the far shore, you see a city. And it's kind of dipped into the light of not one, but 2 moons. And it's all a sickly yellow. And the lake is completely quiet and silent. And there's no motion. And it's almost like somebody took black ink and poured it over a very, very, very smooth surface.
Mm-hmm.
Make a sand check.
Success. 21.
She rolled a 21 as well.
That's cool.
The two of you each... Yeah, so you're still on board with this. You each take a 1d6.
1d6. Oh, that's a lot.
Make it less than a 5, if I may have... Oh, she rolled a 2, that's fine.
I rolled a 1. That's
Okay.
awesome.
Okay, so no
At
temporary
around
insanity.
50 sanity at the moment. I think we both would freeze, like, just running out and just freeze and stare, probably. I think Alice would hectically turn around to see if the warehouse is still there.
No, but the king is.
Freaking hell.
You hear a voice in your head. Be smart, and I will let you go. She stays.
Alice will just stare at him. You already have a bride, and you don't want to mess with people that are touched by other gods. Already. There are more than you out there, you know that. Powerful. And she will, with all she can, will think about
Make
the
a
cat
pout
goddess.
check. Make a pout check with advantage.
Let's see. So all her thinking is in, how was she called? Something with ooh, wasn't it? Or
Ulthar?
yeah, Ulthar.
She's not a god. She is beyond the gods. She is older than anyone and everyone.
Then it's even better, but that would be Alice because we both were welcome there, and that includes Dottie. That is a critical fail. I rolled 100.
Okay, but you get advantage. I just said please roll with advantage.
Okay, that means I can roll the higher the tenor die second
So
time,
the one
right?
so basic the tenor die. Yeah.
Then it's a 60, which is a success.
Okay, I'm so glad because I don't have a plan for a fumble yet. That would be interesting to play it
I was
out.
just like staring at, why is there a 10 and a 0 in front of me? The last times it was always 2 zeros and then just a low number. That was much nicer. But yeah,
Okay,
so I barely make it.
What is your POW? You barely make it.
It's
Okay.
55. I spent luck points to get at least to a success.
Who are you to threaten me?
I think Alice would just, in her mockery way, because gods and all these powerful beings annoy the freaking hell out of her. It's like, who brought you here? We have enough problems without you. Find someone else.
You are where I live. This is Carcosa.
We were in a warehouse in New York City. You decided to bring us here. Just bring us back home. We will leave the warehouse.
Like I said, you can go. She stays.
No,
and he
you
turns
don't.
to her and he again puts out
Alice-
his hand.
The moment he moves, Alice would step in front of her. Bodyguard.
Okay.
And Alice is bigger. Alice is taller than Dottie. Alice had still a gun in her hand. And she would point at his belly, gut. No,
Okay.
heart region would be better, probably. Heart region is always good.
What do
Should
you
I
do?
pull the trigger again?
Are you saying this out loud?
Yes.
He spreads out his arms and presents his heart region to you.
And again, the stupid question on how many wives do you need? Is one not enough?
You're all talk.
Well, I suspect the happily you are offering this, it will not do anything to you.
No, it won't.
I should have used a paint, Dottie. That would have been much more fun. I could have painted a clown face on him.
If you had used the paint, you would also be mine.
Well, again.
Here to serve me for all eternity.
It's still nice that you're starting or trying to kidnap someone that is already under protection of other gods. Could we please just go? And just find something else to play with? You're just as bored as everyone else up there, isn't it? And the moment he thinks, she would pull or have a pocket knife and she would try to stab in the eye.
Okay, you stab him.
Mm-hmm. Let's
Make a
see
dex
if
check.
the attack roll works. It does, definitely, because I rolled a 15, which is a hard success.
Okay.
If I
You
spend
stick
too
the
long.
knife into his eye, or where the eye is in his mask. He puts a hand. Do you let go of the knife?
Yeah,
Okay. He
the
puts
knife
a
is
hand.
not that precious to her.
So the knife actually sticks in the
It's
mask.
sticking in there, that's the
He
idea.
covers half his face with his hand, then his fist closes around the knife. He pulls it out. And out of that hole that the knife made falls out something that is like gauze, red gauze unfurls. So like make-believe kind of like weird blood,
Yeah.
and it basically pours down.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at you with his good eye and he says, everything you can do, I can do better. And a knife appears in his hand and he stabs you in the heart. Dottie has an Indira Varma moment
Uh-huh. I can imagine.
and she hits him because she's standing behind him.
Yep.
44. I think her unarmed combat is 31, so that's a miss. Well, she would hit him, but she's ineffectual because
Yeah.
there's no way she can miss him, really. You feel pain,
Mm-hmm.
and he lets go of the knife. You see the knife sticking out of your chest where your heart is. And you see gauze fall down. Do you pull out the knife?
I will pull out the knife and see what happens.
You pull out the knife.
If she's still standing breathing and it's not real blood running down, she would just look at him in the utmost pity that she can muster. You are a poor soul. It's all make-believe, isn't it? Paintings. Nothing is real. It's all fake.
Make a pow check.
One day she will fail a bow. Not today. It's a success with a 33. Yeah, success.
Dottie realizes that you are still there and seem to be well in a 66.
And still
she's
giving
fine.
feisty answers.
And he rolls his head from left to right.
I think.
And he puts his hand over his face and he removes the mask to reveal another that just looks just like it. He drops the one he's just been holding.
The player in me is like, oh, mask, I need to try it. No, I'm not. We've seen in other games that's a bad idea. I think Alice would just try to grab Dottie's hand and she would like, let's leave. This is stupid.
So you basically reach around him and you take
Yeah.
Dottie's hand. Okay, so
And
you take Dottie.
I would walk in the direction where we came from.
Mm-hmm.
Just
You walk?
ignoring that he, or trying just as if he would not be there.
You walk away from him. And you can see that you are, so basically the lake is now behind you. You're walking away from it. You're also walking away from that city that you saw. And you're just basically walking on a waste land, kind of. There is nothing there. You know, there is rock. There's no vegetation, nothing. You also don't see anyone. So you walk. How long do you want to walk for?
The thing is, she would walk. Clearly, she would still have eyes, not eyes, but ears open. She would like to at least see if he's following or not. Should I make a listen roll for that?
Please do, because Dottie hears nothing.
48 is a normal success.
You hear a song. Someone singing. It is the same song that Casilda sang when you visited her in the insane asylum.
Oh man. Dottie, what do you think maybe of singing something that might be rather for your god? Although maybe that's not helping because Casilda is on that and it didn't help. Should we make up a song for our cat friends?
But we could just stay. I mean, what's the point?
You want to stay around that freak? And be his? Forever? Does that sound like a nice future for you? Really?
He loves me.
Alice will stop and look at Dottie and will just... Are you? Yes. You are insane. You lost it as well.
He told me so.
He's a liar, you know that, right?
How would you know?
He's just using everyone to get what he wants.
And he wants me, so everything he's been doing is because he loves me.
He is already married. How do you feel about being the second wife? You're number 2, you're not number 1, sweetheart.
Yeah.
She's trying to
Talk.
get Dottie's proud part, because then stubbornness might stop in. So
Fast
she's
talk?
really... Yeah, probably.
Because it's not intimidation.
No, it's not intimidation. No. Far away from success. Her fast talk is surprisingly low, I have to say.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Well, I've put all in persuasion.
Well, think of Pamela. She was married several times. And I don't even want to know how many lovers she's had. So, he's finally found me. We were meant for each other. I too have seen the sign.
Alice will grab Dottie's hand and pull. We are leaving this insane place. Maeve will
Well,
scratch
you
your
can
eyes
leave.
out if she gets close to you. You know that, right?
He
You
said
are
you
doing
could leave.
exactly what she was scared of. You don't care about anyone else, just you. Oh, selfish Dottie. And she will pull. And see if Dottie follows. If not, Alice has
Okay.
the keen idea of knocking Dottie out and dragging or carrying her.
Me and selfish. Me.
I will not lose you to that monster. She would just point
Who's-
roughly in the direction.
Who's
of it was.
selfish now? You just want everything you want. What about what I want?
You want to lose yourself and be nobody. That's fun. You were on such an amazing way of being the best you. And you're throwing everything away you worked for so hard.
No one has ever said that they love me. No one.
That is a blank lie. Thank you very much.
What?
How often did we
Persuade.
talk? Because definitely I rolled a 6, which is a critical success. Your family loves you, I love you, Maeve loves you, you have friends that love you. You have a life. You want to throw everything around for that.
He doesn't love me, you say?
He's playing a game.
Why with
Remember?
me?
Because he knows that you're amazing. Which I get to him. He has a good taste. That's the only bonus point I can give to him. Remember what Miss Madame Lavant said. He's pure chaos.
Have you seen the yellow sign? You hear a voice in your head.
He's
I'll
pure
check.
evil, Dottie. I rolled a 6, which is a critical success on POW. I think in her mind it's like, fuck off.
You are facing Dottie, are you not?
I'm facing Dottie. And I think Alice is looking definitely desperate. All the emotions are going through.
Behind Dottie, you see suddenly, out of nowhere, appears a red door. It's just basically standing there in the middle of nowhere, like on wasteland. It falls from kind of like out of nowhere. And it's like a wooden door that you would find in a building. Normal handle, door frame, red.
At least it's not yellow. Alice would still hold Dottie's hand. You are too good to be a pet of a thing like he is. And she will be staring at the...
Here.
Well, we have a door. I'm just not sure if I like that door.
What?
And she would carefully turn Dottie around.
Where did that come from?
Well, I guess he put that there. That makes it difficult to decide if it's a good or bad idea to go through. It might be that I annoyed the freaking hell out of him, because I'm good at that. And he wants his peace and quiet now. Or it will get worse when I step through there.
Then maybe I should step through.
We do this together.
But if it gets worse?
Well, then it gets worse and we are still together. So we've gone through hell and back.
She puts an arm under yours, so she hooks into your arm.
Yeah, I will hook in as well.
And she puts one hand, the other one on the door handle, and she looks at it and she says, together.
Together. And I will put my other hand, because I have a free hand, on her hand on the doorknob, so we can turn it together as well.
So you open the door. Handle turns. The door opens inward away from you. Open it.
Yep.
And you see a really strange vista. You see the inside of a police cell. And
okay.
Beyond it you see a desk. Behind that desk you see a policeman. He's got a moustache like so. Looks a little bit like a walrus. Sergeant Bruce. This looks like the police station in Simmons Strand.
He wants to bring us through hell, doesn't he? I think Alice would call out, like, oi! Just to see if he reacts or not.
Basically, kind of like we don't know what he was doing. Maybe he was reading something, or maybe he was resting his eyes. What? You! I know you! You are that lady detective from New York City. the one that came here, and then you kidnapped that girl, you killed her brother, and I could not arrest you. You and that male friend of yours. What are you doing in my police cell?
Well, we are visiting.
Get out of there! And he
obviously.
gets up and he has like this big bunch of keys and he unlocks the door. He said, "Out! Leave my police station now! Simmons Strand is a good and God-fearing place, and there is no room for harlots like you. Jezebels and how to spot them. I go to church every Sunday, and I know a whore when I see one, and you leave my police station now. And you, Missy, should not be following her. You are a good and God-fearing creature, are you not?"
Dottie is good. She says, not anymore.
Dottie looks at him and she says, "Who's that God that you're talking about?" And she looks at Alice and she says, "How do we get home now? It's way too late to catch a train. Doesn't leave until 5:10 in the evenings." And Bruce ignores you. He goes past you and he starts touching the wall. He's like, "How did they get?" And he starts knocking on the wall because there is no door there anymore.
Yeah, that would be the question. Does Alice still see a
It's like-
door as the door vanished?
It's not hollow.
Oh, Alice is so tempted to pull the door behind us and lock him in. I think she will do that.
Okay, you lock in Bruce.
Yeah, we will pull it shut. It might be that he has a key on him. I'm honestly, Alice doesn't care, but she will just shut the door and have a nice evening, Sergeant, and we will just step
What?
outside the police.
And he's like holding on to the bars. It's like, "Let me out!" And he's kind of like, he's getting redder and redder, and he's now having a real fit, and he's
think-
cursing you out, and it's not pleasant.
Well, if he's cursing us out, Alice was tempted to turn around and just ask why on earth he doesn't have his keys on him. But now she's like, well, if he doesn't want help, then not.
You're a bit surprised that such a God-fearing man knows so many swear words.
No.
And the two of you leave, or basically the two of you are now in the police station. What
Yeah.
do you do?
I think Alice would have a look. Is there a newspaper on his desk?
There is. He was
She
doing the
wouldn't have a look.
crossword.
On the date. Which day and year it is.
Make a
Is
pow-
it today or is it something else?
Oh dear.
What should I make?
Pow check.
A fail.
Yeah, and she failed critically. Take a look at the date.
Mhm.
It is a date. That is not 1932. It is 1931. 1st of November. You should be in Egypt by now.
Let's call home and make them aware that we will return in 1 or 2 days. And then
You
let's
pick up
find
the
a room.
phone.
Yeah.
He's got a phone. We established that.
Yeah, he should as a police
You-
station.
Ring.
Yeah.
So you ring your New York residence.
Yes, and hope that our dear maid is answering the phone.
Teresa answers the phone.
Mm-hmm. Baker.
Hello? Excuse me.
Alice here, Teresa. I'm talking to the Baker residence, don't I?
Yes, you're talking to the Baker residence, but who is this?
Well, the one who pays your job every day. I know I should be in Egypt, I'm not.
Hang on a moment. She covers the mouthpiece and you hear muffled the voice saying, Madam, there is somebody here who pretends that she is you. Would you like to talk to her?
Holy hell. Alice would just look at Dottie and be like, this is not good.
Are you holding on to the receiver?
Yeah, she will hold on.
You hear your voice and it says, Hello, Alice Baker. Who am I speaking to?
You might want to sit down for this. Why are you not in Egypt?
Excuse me?
You should be in Egypt by now.
What is this, a prank? I mean, Teresa, if this lady calls again, don't. And you hear somebody handing off the receiver. Mm-hmm. Do you say anything?
No, Alice will hang up. We are still at home. So we are not in Egypt. And we definitely should not be here in this time.
What?
I talk to myself.
Well, that's happened before. You're probably talking to the mother of shadows.
No, I'm quite sure it was me.
How can it be you? You are here.
Well, but we are not from 1931. We are from 1932.
What's going on?
And she will curse. Not name him, but curse him. He's still playing games with us. He sent us through time. So now it's the question how we get back.
I think I know how. I know how you can get back.
How I can get back?
He wants me.
No,
if I go to him, you will be released.
Yeah, and what is about together? No. We will find another way.
But something here is... I mean, if this is true, we've gone back in time and now there's two of you.
Let's step outside and get some fresh air.
Is there two of me too? And if so, which one is the real one?
You both are. It's just your past self. In a kind of different way, because they're not traveling.
You didn't go to Egypt?
Looking at the date, we were already
what else
in
is
Egypt.
Different?
Let's step outside and see. At least he remembers us. So that happened.
He remembers you. He hasn't mentioned me. And he hasn't.
Yeah, that's true. Well.
Can you do me a favor and can you ring one more time and ask for me?
Sure. Alice will grab the phone. She will change her voice slightly.
You ring the Baker residence. It's Teresa.
Yep. Good evening. I would be curious if I could speak to Miss Williams.
I'm sorry. Do you have the wrong number? There is no Miss Williams at this address.
I got your phone number. There might be misconnected. Then I'm very sorry for disturbing you.
Have a good evening.
You too. And she will hang up. You're not there. We're definitely not in our world.
Where am I?
be somewhere completely different. It looks like things here took different turns. Maybe you're still with your parents, or you went to support someone else than me. Who knows what happened in this world?
What are we going to do?
I'm not sure. But we will figure something out, as always.
And where do we go now?
First of all, outside. I'm curious if it looks outside like we remember.
You step outside?
Then there should be a hotel not far from here.
Mm-hmm. You step outside. Yes, actually, because it was so tiny, everything was right next door. You step outside, and it does look a lot like Simmons Strand as you remember it, only now it's winter, so it's this whole seaside resort thingy is kind of toned down a little. But you can see that there is a hotel, as you remember it. It's still called Murphy's Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go there?
Yes.
You step inside.
Mm-hmm.
In the foyer. Everything looks like you remember it. You also seem to think that the person behind the counter is vaguely familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Do you approach?
Yes.
It's again. You can see the nameplate Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, madam.
Good evening. I would be curious if you would have a room for a night?
Of course. She turns around. She says, ground floor or second? Ground floor or first floor?
Ground floor, please.
Of course. She gives you a key.
Because it's winter season. That can't be fully booked. That would be...
No, it's ground floor, and she gives you a key.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled a 0-1. It's room 1. The room number.
I have no idea which rooms we had last
You weren't
time.
staying there. You were staying at the chalet.
No, but Matthew was staying there.
I don't
That was
know.
the
I don't
hotel.
think we actually ever gave him a room number.
I don't think we gave him a room number.
And she says it's right at the end. So if you just follow this aisle, and then it's on your left. Where's your luggage, madam? I'll have the bellhop bring it in.
You don't have to worry about that. Thank you.
All right. I'm afraid the kitchen is already closed, but of course we can offer refreshments like Caesar salad or sandwiches.
Sandwiches would be really lovely. Thank you.
I will have them brought to your room. What would you like for drink? Tea? Coffee?
Tea would be amazing.
Yeah. Water and lemon juice and orange juice are free of charge, complimentary in your room already.
Thank you very much.
There's also a minibar.
We might need that. Thank you.
She looks at you. You
I think
pulled out. You pulled out the knife, didn't you? Did you?
I pulled out the knife. Yes.
Did you take off the gauze?
Yes, I'm quite sure she brushed it off.
Okay.
For sure. The thing is, what Alice would very carefully pay attention to, does Sandy recognize Dottie? Because Dottie must be standing right next to me or behind me, or she would be around.
She hasn't given any indication that she's recognizing you, let alone...
No, the thing is, Alice is not sure if Dottie is maybe not here in this world. So that only Alice can see her. So it would be like the Sandy just at least occasionally look over and realize this is a room for 2 and the second person is there. That would be what Alice is reading.
Okay, she addressed you.
Ask that.
She addressed you as madam. Mm-hmm. She hasn't acknowledged a second person yet.
Okay. I think Alice then would turn around just to really play. Or no, she would not turn around, but she would talk to Dottie. Dottie, what do you want? Sandwich tea, okay?
Yeah.
How does Miss Sandy look? Does she look a little bit puzzled?
Psychology roll.
Oh, the king will be in so much trouble if Alice can get her hands on him again. That is a success with the 32. Oh, a hard success.
Okay. You notice that her eyes flick towards where Dottie is standing, and you see her nod.
Okay. And again, Dottie says it's fine, I think. Tea and sandwiches.
Yeah.
Well then, I think a hot shower and a bed and some sleep might help.
All right. So the two of you go to room 01.
Yes.
It looks like a hotel room, like the one that you saw when you were here to look at the room that Matthew had. Although Matthew had two rooms next to each other. This is just the one room, but they're sizable rooms anyway. So each one has a bathroom and a toilet. Impeccably outfitted, really nice. Dottie sits down and looks outside, and she says, "This is so weird."
It is so weird.
So do we go back to New York? And where are we going to stay? I mean, if the other Alice lives in your house, where are we going to stay?
Oh, first of all, I would like to visit where you grew up and see where Dottie is in this world.
But how are we going to pay for anything? Do you have any money on you?
A little
Because I'm
bit.
pretty sure you cannot go to the bank and just withdraw from your own account.
Why not? It's me.
Alice, this is weird.
Without question. And honestly, I still have no real idea. The only thing that we can do is ask for help.
How? And who?
That is the question. I highly doubt Madame Lavant would know an option to send her through time. She's good. I highly doubt that's her métier.
Maybe we should hire a PI.
For what?
Maybe we should go and hire you. Can
That's
you
the
just
question,
imagine?
Yeah, the question is, am I even a PI?
I think what I'm more worried about is what happens when the two of you meet. Not
I
that
don't think that's a good idea, although I would be curious to walk by the house, because I would be curious if there is a Maeve there. I highly suspect no.
you gave her to me when I was ill. If I'm not there,
then Maeve is not there.
but Teresa is.
Yes, which is really weird.
What about your mother and father? They have another daughter now.
No, they only have one daughter.
She turns around and she looks at you and she says, "You will always be the only Alice for me."
Oh, and you are the only Dottie for me. As I said, we are not in our world or life or... You read about the ideas of some scientists that there are multiple timelines. I know it sounds crazy, but honestly it feels like it, because this world is not our past.
But
would we be in Egypt and everything would be just like, I would say, hey, we just
But do you think that
similar.
our being here is in some way dangerous?
For us, probably yes. As I told you, he likes playing because honestly, he's just as the other gods, bored. And likes to show that he's powerful.
She looks around, she says, "Well, as far as divine manifestation goes, this is by far the most convincing one we've been through. Well, Ulthar was pretty convincing too.
I'm honestly
Plus there were
quite
dragons.
tempted to figure out a way to see if we can talk to Ulthar again.
That would involve drinking opium and getting Lady Jane to chant. Depending on how weird this time is, Lady Jane may or may not even be in Egypt. Maybe she did get married to her cousin.
Maybe she's still in New York in a museum.
Well,
She might travel, she might somewhere else, I'm not sure. Maybe Madame Lavant might have an idea on that. I'm curious if she remembers us. Because we should have met by now.
if the other Alice is like you, has the same job.
I honestly hope for that Alice that she did not have to. Although honestly, she has a very poor life if she doesn't have a Dottie in her life.
Dottie blushes considerably.
So I think we will go to New York City tomorrow by train.
Mm-hmm.
Because here for sure, what should we do? We don't have anything here that would help us.
Oh, I just realized. Sergeant Bruce called you a PI.
Yeah.
You must be a PI in this time.
Yep.
So not everything is different. That's good.
I'm not sure if that's good. I don't think it's helpful.
How so?
Oh, does it help that she is a PI?
Why? Because she's too much like you?
No, but I will not interfere with that.
No, you're not supposed to interfere. I'm just saying that not everything is different.
Yeah, but still a lot is different.
Maybe we should
I would
find out
say-
who's president.
I suspect they have a phone in the. Did they have phone on? Probably not.
No.
During
No,
that
there is
time.
one phone that you know
Yeah.
or remember you could use, but it's in the lobby. And it's kind of like this phone booth, and you have to tell the lady at reception or the gentleman at
What?
reception who you want to call, and then basically
Yeah, no,
this
no,
phone
then-
rings. Yeah.
Should we just ask the reception if they have a newspaper from today?
I'll go.
Okay.
At that moment, room service. Dottie
Alice will
opens the
get up
door,
as well. Mm-hmm.
takes the tray, hands it to you, and she says, "I'll be right." She looks at the little room service person, and she basically grabs some coins from her pocket. She hands it. Oh, by the way, do you think it's possible to get a newspaper? And he's like, "Yes, miss, I'll be right back." And he runs off. She's like, I can go I guess not.
Well, you gave him a good tip.
Yeah, but I can actually do those menial things myself. And then he comes back jogging with a newspaper, and she gives him another coin. He's like, "Thank you, miss."
Thank you so much. Have a nice evening.
Mm-hmm. And he closes the door.
And we will probably spread the newspaper or share it, that one gets one page, one the other, because it should be in layers, as you can pull apart a newspaper. And Alice would just plonk herself probably on the floor, just biting in a piece of sandwich and trying to read through what is happening in the world, if it's like it was last year or if it's different.
So you read around the world, essentially. It's the New York Times. Everything seems to be like you remember it. Herbert Hoover is the 31st President of the United States. So everything seems to be fine. The First World War has happened, it seems. The Titanic has sunk. Other than that, there is nothing remarkable. You do remember what happened in the second
It was
half of
roughly,
1931, and kind of, I mean, while you were not in the United States, you did kind of keep up to date with what was happening. So this seems to be legit.
Okay.
If there are changes, they are less on a macro level.
Okay. So at least not too different.
No. Suddenly, there's a knock on the door. What is it now? She
Alice
gets
will
up.
get up.
You go.
Yeah, Alice would very carefully open the door a little bit, and she would have the revolver in hand.
There's no one outside. However, across from your door, somebody has painted a yellow sign on the wall. Make
Alice
a
will
sand
close.
check.
She will try to close the door.
You do close the door, not a problem.
Success on sanity.
Okay. Who was it?
Our friend.
He's here?
Oh, he left a sign outside the door.
Maybe I should talk to him.
No. I'm not losing you to him. He's not worthy of you.
How did we end up in this mess?
Well, technically it's Alex's fault.
She thinks about it for a second. She's like, yes, we can
I
totally
don't-
blame it on her.
Yes, I don't think she really wants it. She hates what is happening to that painting. I think the rest is just... I would call it curse. Some might just say bad luck.
I really would like to know if at some point you and I will find out what the crossroads was where you and I took the wrong turn.
I would love that, because I would just like to be a PI that finds a lost cat. That would be lovely.
Well, in this timeline, you're not either. And she comes close to you and she says, you will always be Alice. And that's a good thing.
And this will be always Alice and Dottie. So let's ignore his place, because honestly,
I'm starving.
Yeah, let's munch more.
Mhm.
Sandwiches. We will drink some tea.
Mm-hmm. There's a drinks cabinet in the corner.
Alice is thinking about it, but she will not touch drinks. Alice in her mind, she's like in New York, like, where would I get opium in New York without getting into trouble?
You do
But
know
is
places
she's
where you can
not-
get opium.
Yeah, but well,
You do know places where you can get opium.
okay. Yeah,
Then Dottie goes and locks the door. She
Mhm.
puts a chair in front of it. She checks every single window. They're all locked.
Yeah, we will, and also close the drapes.
Yeah. And then she says, I think we should get some rest.
We should. The question is, yes, no, let's just get some rest.
She lies down.
Mm-hmm.
She closes her eyes. She goes to sleep.
Alice will plonk herself next to Dottie. Probably grab her hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then also close her eyes.
Mm-hmm. You do go to sleep as well. You fall asleep. At some point you wake up and you feel refreshed. It's like if you've had a good night's sleep, and you can see that it's light out, and you know it's November, so it's a little bit late-ish, so you've definitely woken up past your normal get-up time. And Dottie is still lying next to you, but she's awake. And she's looking at the ceiling, and she says, I had the weirdest dream, I thought. But now I see where we are. It's not a dream, is it?
Sadly, no.
How about we have some breakfast?
Yeah. Let's get ready. So we will refresh. We don't have any additional clothing, so we will just refresh.
And yours has a gash because somebody stabbed you through the heart. You ripped open your clothes.
Maybe we should also see if stores open to at least grab a scarf or a jacket or something like that.
Yeah, we should. So do you go to the dining room?
Yeah.
Or breakfast room?
Yeah, breakfast room.
There are some. There are several. There are plenty of tables, small tables, holding no more than 4 people each. You'd say easily 20. It's a huge room, but only like 5 or 6 have been laid. So as you were thinking, you know, it's off season, so only very few people are actually here. But at the moment, you're completely alone. There are 2 people who would be serving you. Once you have decided where to sit, a young lady approaches in like an apron and, you know, normal clothes for servants or service personnel. And she basically asks what you would like to drink and what she could offer you for food. And she points to a little menu. There are different types of eggs, like egg Benedict and God knows what else, and bacon and, you know, like everything. And then she also points to a little kind of like those trays that have like different stories where there's different types of sweets on it, and she basically holds this and puts it in the middle of the table, so you can choose from there. There is bread, there is everything, there is fruit. You could have like the most delightful breakfast. You can also have waffles.
Alice will just pick something random, not too big. Coffee, black. And when we stepped outside of our room, that's the right order, was the sign still on the wall?
You drink your coffee. You finish it.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the cup is a yellow sign. Make a handshake.
Oh, does
And
aggression help?
in your head you hear a voice. Have you seen the yellow sign?
I fail insanity.
Okay, you lose 1d6.
Where did it go? That's a 3.
Okay. You also notice another thing. Come to think of it. Somehow it's always you who sees the sign. Never seems to be Dottie.
Well, I don't know, because I'm not saying anything. It might be that she sees it as well. Dottie,
You have
just
a
to
feeling
be...
that she's not seeing it.
Yeah, but she would now speak about it. Dottie, just be curious. You're not seeing signs that horrible person is sending?
Make a spot hidden.
Do I want to?
I don't know.
It's a success.
Dottie's wearing an engagement ring.
I think Alice would really like lower side, just closing the eyes, taking a deep breath, just basically muttering that he is such an... And it's not nice what she's saying about him. And she would just look at Dottie, so you're not seeing signs, right?
Like what?
Like what you have on your finger?
She looks at her hand on her, and she looks at it as if she's never seen it before. She takes a knife and she cuts off her ring finger.
Great. Question 1. Is she bleeding?
Red gauze falls forth. There, that's all better now.
Much better.
She smiles at you, and then she has another sip of her tea.
Can Alice do a psychology roll? She will try to read Dottie a little, because she's losing faith that this is Dottie.
Okay, make a psychology roll. Okay.
Oh, she has no idea. I rolled a 95. She's completely lost at the moment. She's just staring at Dottie, probably.
So when you say she's lost, do you think that you're more likely to think that this is Dottie or that this isn't Dottie?
It's 50-50. It's going back and forth between.
Dottie looks at you. She rolls a 93 on her psychology roll. She notices nothing.
Oh, it's awesome that we are both so good at this.
So, what's the plan? So we're gonna take a train today and then we'll see what happens?
I highly doubt that will lead to anything. He's already winning.
Is he?
Well, look at your finger. Non-existent.
Oh, that's just a scratch.
Mm-hmm. You know how insane that sounds, right? You cut off your finger.
You objected to my ring.
There we are already. It's not your ring. It's his. He's making you his property.
Okay, let's see how she feels about that. 15. He wants me to stay.
And he wants me to believe it's maybe not even you I'm sitting opposite of.
Of course it's me. Who else would it be?
I'm not sure my Dottie would be crazy enough to just cut off her finger and smile and drink tea.
She looks at you and she says, How can I convince you that I'm me? I mean, if I'm not me, then where am I? I mean, where am I and who am I? And who is the other one? And where is she? And she looks around as if she's expecting herself to walk through that door any minute now.
It might be that you are somewhere completely different in his world and he plunked me here. We don't know what he's capable of. And I'm not saying, I just don't know. Everything we see is not real, and Alice will do something crazy probably. She will use the fork and just plonk it in her hand.
In hers or in Dottie's?
No, in herself. She will not hurt Dottie. She will not. She will just like, and see what happens.
That hurt.
Does it bleed?
It does. And Dottie's like, Alice, are you crazy? And she takes her napkin and she puts it on your hand and you see the blood gushing through it. She's like, why did you do that?
To see what is happening. Why am I bleeding and you don't?
At that moment, she looks at her hands like she's never seen them before. She only has 9 fingers now. But if you're Alice and I'm not Dottie, who am I?
We have two options. Either you're his creation, or you are in fact still Dottie and he's playing tricks. Because obviously he would not like to hurt you, or lose the finger and the ring. And Alice would take the napkin and really wrap it around her hand.
Maybe you should leave. Maybe this is dangerous for you.
Well, it's more dangerous for you.
You mean he's gonna cut off more than just my finger?
No, he will try to prison you and not let you go. He's playing with me. You are his goal. I'm just annoying.
You think he's gonna keep me here in Simmons Strand in a hotel?
Well, he can bring you wherever he wants you to be. Might be that we are not even here. It might be all make-believe.
But I can
And
see
no,
it.
I will not stab random people, although I'm kind of tempted to try and see what happens.
Tell me something about me that only you know, and I will tell you something about you that only I know.
God, Alice is like, okay, let's see which part.
I will go first. You once dreamt that I had received a letter when I was 15 years old. And I went upstairs to my bedroom and I read it and I put it away. Do you remember where I put it?
I'm quite sure Alice does. I would have to look through my notes because it's been too long ago.
She put it in her Bible.
Okay.
Oh well, in her
obvious, right?
Yeah.
Obvious where to put it, but well, it would be obviously the Bible.
Then you are Alice and I'm Dottie, because that's correct. And only I know where I put it, and you, because you saw it in your dream.
Well, then at least he's holding his hand over you that you're not getting hurt. At least not really.
Well, I only have 9 fingers now. There goes my career as a star pianist.
She would just basically probably look upstairs because that's her usual view on whoever is up there. You could also give her just a finger back. Then she would at least be complete again.
You hear in your head, that's right. What's a bride without an engagement ring on her right hand finger?
She did not say yes.
You're saying this out loud.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Well, he's answering at least me. He's there, he's watching us.
What did he say?
Well, you're definitely his bride in his mind. And I highly suspect he wants you to put on the engagement ring and you would have your finger back. Because he's too scared to just have you make a decision.
She does something really gross. She takes the finger that is still lying there. She pulls off the ring. Takes the ring. Gets up. Goes to one of the really huge Venetian windows. Opens the window. Pulls back her hand and throws the ring outside into the nothingness, into the wilderness, into the garden. Closes the window and comes back.
I hope he understands that you are not a willing bride. Because it's quite rude to have multiple brides at the same time. Only insecure men behave like that. And he's not even willing to show his face. So he's a scared little something.
You need to roll for his power. I think you're getting to him. Oh dear, for 74. So, we should try and find out what time it is, and then we should try and find out if the trains still run at the same schedule.
At least get in the train. Let's see if he lets us to New York City. Maybe we end up in Egypt or somewhere else. We don't know, but let's give it a try.
So you go to the train station.
Yes, so we pay the room. And we go to the train station. And after the train station, probably Alice's money is out. But it will be just enough for that.
You buy tickets. There is a train to the United States, to New York City on that
The
day.
United States, where?
To the United States, yeah. Carcosa, New York City, non-stop, first class.
Let's go to Canada. Let's go to Montreal.
Pamela, exactly. Yeah, we have no idea what Pamela is up to. Basically, you arrive in New York City in the evening. It's already dark. Where do you go?
We would pick a hotel.
How are you going to pay for that?
That's a good question. Well, we can't go home.
Well, you could. It would be weird, and we have no idea where Dottie's home is.
Well, the banks are closed if it's evening and dark. Because Alice would be able to get money in the morning, she's quite sure. Because she is Alice, she looks like Alice, she sounds like Alice, she can cyanide Alice.
Well, she is Alice.
Yes, and her bank card would be definitely the proper bank card, she suspects at least. Well, is the question during that time, was that already credit card thing? No. It's all cash.
Or check.
Or check. I highly doubt she would have her checkbook with her.
Probably not, because you went to a warehouse to break in.
Yeah, I had just cash on me because clearly, oh god, the poor cab driver. Alice would have a moment like, oh boy, the poor cab driver. Well, we can only... I'm still... When I look about nowadays, if you rent a hotel room, you make reservation and you pay when you leave. You don't pay when you...
No.
So we could still get a room. We just need to make sure that in the morning Alice gets money before we officially check out. I think that would be it. We would not
or take it for several days and then, you know.
Yeah. So we would
take
definitely
something
find a
hotel.
Not too far from, I think, where we are living. So a hotel that we know generally is there.
But they would know you too.
Would they?
Would they?
Because we would not visit.
Okay, that's fine then. Okay, so near where Alice lives.
Would we do that? Or would we stay near? No, I think we would stay near Central Station because that's mid-Manhattan. I think that would make more sense.
Okay, so it's easy to find a hotel. You book yourselves in.
Yeah, for like 3 or 4 days.
So what are we gonna do now?
Get food?
Yes, beyond that.
It's too late to visit your parents, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
We can have a walk by our house and see, have a peek in. Clearly,
Yeah,
not
or
ringing
run
the
into
bell.
yourself. Well, I could ring the bell and see if they recognize me at all.
Might give them a heart attack, but maybe it's worth a try.
Okay, let's do that. So you go
Let's
there.
do that. Yep.
She rings the bell. So basically, the house looks like you remember it.
Yeah, the house looks like. I would stare definitely in the window where Maeve usually is sitting.
She's no
not
cat.
there. Okay. Yeah. So I would stand probably like across the street or a little bit in the shadows, and would let Dottie ring the bell.
Ding dong. She waits. The door opens. Make a spot hidden.
That is a hard success.
You have seen yourself before.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of are familiar with this, but basically maybe it's the maid's day off or whatever, but it's actually a certain Alice Baker that's opening the door.
Holy hell.
She's wearing trousers, she's immaculately dressed, she's having a cigarette, it's in her cigarette tip. She looks at Dottie and Dottie says a couple of words. There's a reaction. She also says a couple of words, and then Dottie nods, and then the two of them probably say their goodbyes, and the other Alice closes the door.
Mm-hmm.
Dottie comes back. That was really weird. She looks just like you. She sounds
didn't
like you.
recognize you.
No. I said I was a friend of Teresa's. It's not hard to pull off. But Teresa's on her day off today.
Huh.
She looks just like you, Alice.
She does. So let's find you. Although
Okay.
maybe not today.
Maybe not today.
Because I suspect it's definitely too late to ring
Yeah.
at Dottie's parents. So tomorrow morning we will have a look at your parents' home. Just to see if you're where you are.
So you go back to the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
You have some dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Wake up.
Yep.
Have some breakfast. You
Yep.
go to the place where Dottie used to live. Or where
Yep.
this Dottie grew up.
Yeah.
Street looks exactly the same. You find the house instantly.
Mm-hmm.
What do? Do you ring the bell? Does she ring the bell?
I would tell her that this time we do vice versa. She stays a bit off, I will ring the bell.
What are you wearing in the meantime?
I think in New York, even when in the morning, definitely. Maybe not in the evening. I guess at least during the time we would have been able to get a coat.
Yeah. So you're
Because
wearing
it's because here it's winter now,
Yeah,
and I
it's
did
winter.
not wear a coat, and maybe for Dottie as well, because we just don't want to freeze to death. So she would have a coat, but like a probably grey one, something just Very understated for Alice. It was cheap.
You ring the bell.
Yes.
The door opens a couple of minutes, or, well, 2 to 3 minutes later. It's Dottie's mother, Mrs. Williams.
I think Alice will wait for a second just to see if Miss Williams is like, oh, I recognize. Probably not.
No, she says yes.
Good morning. I was just curious. I am looking for your daughter, Dorothy. Could you point me in the direction where I can find her?
She looks you up and down, and the point is, regardless of how you're dressed, you ooze class. What do you want with my daughter?
Well, I'm looking for a first-class housemaid, and I heard she is the best. So I want to make her a job offer.
Persuade. Because this is the most unusual way anyone would go about finding a housemaid.
I know. Oh, that's a 22. That is a hard success. Persuasion.
Well,
I know it's a little bit weird to do it like this, but I didn't know how else to contact her.
Well, madam, my daughter already has a position.
Could I still at least try to make her the offer? Then she can decide. Maybe mine is better.
How do you know my daughter?
Through friends.
Then how do you need me to tell you where she is?
Because at the moment I'm not sure where she is.
Persuade. Or fast talk, lying, blatantly lying through her teeth.
As persuasion would be a hard success again, fast talk would be a fail.
Okay.
I rolled a 22.
That's fine. She looks at you and she's... If this is a joke, we are poor, but you shouldn't be taking it out on my daughter.
I promise you it's not a joke.
She cannot lose that job.
I will not make any trouble to her. I promise.
She says, all right, wait here. And she goes away and she comes back with a piece of paper and an address written on it.
Thank you.
It's an address in a well-to-do area of New York. Not as well-to-do as yours, but still.
Thank you very much. Take care and stay safe. God bless. God bless is the right thing to say.
You too, madam? She finds this whole situation very strange.
It is very strange for both of us. And I will turn around and we'll leave.
You leave?
And
What do you
I'll
do?
walk up. I will walk over to Dottie. Well, you are working here, and she will just give her the address as well.
Doesn't ring a bell.
No, for me neither. The question is, should we look there first?
But then do what? If this is where I am, where she is, what do we do? Do we just... I mean, what do we do?
I would be very curious for whom you are working. If it's a man with a mask, I will burn down the building. I will not. I don't want to be responsible for New York City burning.
But I mean, the thing is that I don't think he wants me to work for him.
No, he wants to possess you. Definitely, in his mind, you are his. If you want it or not, he doesn't freaking care.
So you think this Dottie is his too?
Maybe. I would be curious.
All right, let's go. So you go to the address. How do you want to do this?
Alice would just have a look at the building. See if there's a name out at the where you put the newspaper or anything like that.
Well, there's a name next to the address that was given you.
Mm-hmm.
So
The name also doesn't ring a bell. No one I know.
make an idea roll.
49 is normal success.
Okay, the name is Brambleberry, which in and of itself is quite a unusual name. Brambleberry, you've heard of them. It's the Brambleberry family. They kind of like, you know, he's a lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Then it's a good question if it's really worth it going by. Because Alice has no reason to ring the bell. Oh, and we need a lawyer might be a reason. Someone kidnapped us.
Which isn't untrue, but a lawyer will not be able to help you with that.
I know. I'm not sure. I'm also not sure if Dottie wants to go there.
Well, honestly, I'm not keen on meeting myself.
I have one other place I'm tempted to have a look at.
Which is?
You remember the point that I knew were in the painting where Penelope is in?
Yes.
I know which building that is. Should we have a look at
Yes.
the building? Maybe
Yes.
it's where he's hiding.
It could be.
Because he's a coward. And
You
Alice
really
will not
always
stop
dislike
making this little dagger stabs because she's sure he is following every single step that we are doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so essentially you know exactly
I know the building but not the floor,
Yeah.
I suspect.
It is a hotel.
Okay.
It's called the Archer Hotel. And you would think that it's on one of the 3 upper floors, topmost. It's a boutique hotel, so there aren't that many rooms, but it's really exclusive.
I'm
And
not
very
looking
expensive.
yeah, I'm not looking exclusive or expensive enough for that.
Okay.
So we have 2 options. We try to lie ourselves up there, or we just go up there and have a peek.
Well, I mean, if we're just convincing enough and we can pretend that we belong.
Let's just go upstairs and see if we can
Okay.
have a look. Maybe we can talk to a maid.
Okay, there are several people in the lobby. There are some people sitting down reading the paper. People are smoking. There are, you know, that there's also conference rooms here. So there would be people meeting, like, you know, press and some such.
Yeah.
Especially since the American Radiator building isn't too far away. And of course, that's an office building of a very, very important radiator company. And so there would be lots of people staying there, like of the upper echelons. So, and you can definitely blend in if you want to.
I think we would like to blend in and just walk through the hotel as if, well, obviously we have a room here. And Alice would like to take the elevator upstairs.
Okay, then just give me one persuade check or sleight of hand, whichever is the better.
Persuasion is definitely the better, but not with that roll. That was an 81. That's a fail on whatever check I'm doing.
Dottie is almost there, 34 over 30, so she spends 4 luck. and she succeeds, and she is basically a convincing maid that is following a well-to-do lady
Okay.
who basically ushers you through the lobby and manages to keep up the pretense that you know exactly where you're going. You go to the elevator, you get inside,
Yeah.
and you go. How do you want to go? To the kind of like topmost floor, work your way down, or okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so you reach the topmost floor. What do you do?
Well, it's daytime.
Mm-hmm.
It should be late enough that people are already out for work, breakfast, meetings,
Yeah.
whatever they have.
Yeah, yeah.
Direction-wise, I would have idea which.
Yes, you do. No problem.
So I would.
As you step outside, you have to turn to your right. That would be.
Yeah.
And it has to be kind of like also a corner room. Otherwise, you wouldn't get these two
wouldn't
windows.
be. Should we just knock at the door and say housekeeping and see if someone is there?
Let me do that because I sound much more convincing
That is
when
true.
I say that.
That
So
is
you
true.
go to the
Yep.
room. Make a luck check, please.
God, it's God that we are spending luck all around today. And no, far away. I rolled a 54 and I only have 30.
She knocks on the door. Housekeeping. No answer.
That's good.
Do you want to break in?
Yes, obviously.
All right. I'll keep watch.
Alice will, because she has a lockpick with her, because she had
Yeah,
it with her
you
to
do.
break into the, so she will do that. Because during that time, luckily, there were no electronic like card thingies, because then we would be in a big mess. They are
Yeah.
still having keys, I'm quite sure, in that kind of age. So I will try to break in as smoothly as possible. That is not the right dice. That's the right one. Where's my... There's locksmith. No, it's not happening. I rolled
What
a
did you roll?
90. That is too far away from a success.
The lock
It's
withstands you.
it's not a horrific fail, but it's a fail. I can't get it open.
All right, let's try the next room.
Okay.
One floor down.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we go back to the elevator. We go down one. We will try exactly the same.
Luck roll.
I have a success. I rolled 28.
Okay. Housekeeping. Make a listen roll.
Okay. Well, the goal is that no one is there. Success.
You think you can hear something. There is somebody in the room.
But not reacting to housekeeping.
Will you tell Dottie what you heard, because she heard nothing?
I think someone is there. Would you mind knocking again?
Housekeeping!
Alice will put again. Probably like kneeling and just listening.
At that moment, the door opens. Are you leaning against it, or are you kneeling just...
She is kneeling, but not leaning against it.
You see in front of you legs in trousers.
Yep.
Do you look up?
Yep.
You see Albus Craig. He looks down at you, and he looks at Dottie, who's standing right opposite him, behind you, or next to you.
You.
What are you doing here? You bitch.
Alice would get up and be like, excuse you? Who's the horrible person here in the room? That is you. And how do we have met before?
How did you get here? You're not supposed to be here. This is my place.
Well, he sent us, obviously.
What do you mean he sent you?
Exactly on what I said. Meet his bride, and he sent us here.
What?
Are
Whose
you
bride?
painting again?
What are you talking? A bride?
Can Alice just carefully
She's
shove
mine.
him
She's mine.
back in
She's
his
mine. I
room?
will not give her up. She's mine. She is mine.
You know that nobody belongs to anybody, right? Whoever it is, it's not your property. Can
she
Alice just
is.
like stab him with, and she's
Yeah.
just trying to push him back into the room. That's basically the idea.
Okay, make a strength check.
God, that's not a strong suit. But he was not a big guy, was he?
No.
So let's see. Oh, a success! I rolled a 41.
Okay, he rolls a 47, so you're definitely beating his 47. Because he's also taken aback, and you push him back. Do you follow him into the room?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, you step into the room. It's
Yep.
the same room that you saw in the painting. Unfortunately, it's the same tableau. You find Penelope lying there in a very compromising position and obviously asleep.
I hope for you that she is still alive.
She's my wife, of course she's still alive. But who do you think I am, a murderer?
She's your wife?
Well, I exchanged vows.
She's such a talented artist. Why on earth should she marry you?
Dottie at that moment says, "You exchanged vows, or did she as well?" He gets really furious.
Alice would close the door first of all behind us. That in case someone is on getting out on that floor, that they are
Dottie
not
leans
listening to
against
them.
it.
You are a horrible man, you know that, and very pitiful.
It is none of your business. This is my prize.
Well, it's your freaking fault that the world is going down. You know that, right?
The world
You
is
are the
great.
downfall of the whole world.
I don't care. I
You are
got
the
what
worst.
I wanted. Fame, money, trophy wife.
You know that it's all fake, right? Because you are nothing. You can do nothing. You are not even talented in anything except lying and stealing.
Power check. 90. Okay, you notice that you may be the first person to have actually confronted him with his own, well, shortcomings, shall we say? He gets really upset. He tries to slap you. You can
You will.
dodge.
I can. Is there a dodge?
Well, you can
Oh yeah,
do
there is a
dex.
dodge. Yeah.
Yeah, or
dodge is there.
you can either dodge or use
Oh,
dex.
I have a success. I rolled a 6. And
Okay,
he will
well-
have a gun in his chest.
Okay,
Just
so he rolled a
pointed,
44,
not in his,
so
but
yeah, no, I
pointed.
know what you mean. So he basically, but he was actually trying to slap you like this. This would have really hurt because
Yeah.
you can see he's wearing a wedding ring.
I don't care.
No, but that would have hurt.
Yeah. But in reaction, he would have a gun to his chest there. I
What
still
is
have
this?
ammunition. Again,
Yeah.
he sent us.
I am impervious to harm. This is my world. He built it for me, and in exchange, I released him. He wanted a bride. I gave him one.
Well, you did not give him the right one. Because his bride is here.
He looks
You
at Dottie.
failed, and you will pay for that. That's why we are here, to destroy your world. Because you failed him. And
he
you
looks
just pat him on the shoulder.
Can you become any more condescending, Alice Baker?
No, she is so mad at this.
This is not Casilda. And he looks at Dottie. This is not his bride. This is not the bride that I painted for him.
Well, he decided he didn't like your bride, so you failed. I found him a better one. And now I'm taking Penelope and let her have a proper life as she should have. Because she is one of the best artists I've ever seen. Much compared to your very poorly drawings.
She is nothing.
That says the one who has no talent because he's jealous of hers. And she would just pat him on the cheek and she would walk over to Penelope.
Okay. He is kind of nonplussed. This is not going well for him. You can tell that, you know, he is. Let's see. Whoops. That's 40. Yeah, 42. He's failed his sanity roll.
I like that.
He grabs a chair and tries to attack you. Let's see what Dottie does. If she has any opinion on all of this. Let's see. 65. It's exactly her dex. She takes a step towards him and grabs the chair leg. And she manages to get out. Alice, watch it. What do you do?
She will dodge, basically, and try to get out of the way. Which is a success. Barely, but it's a success. I rolled a 34. That's just enough.
Oh, he rolled a 0-1 on his strength check, but Dottie at 45 missed hers. So he basically wrenches free and does get a good... Basically, he swings it at you. Please make another dodge check. And it has to be at least a critical success. Because he critted on a 0-1.
See. No, I'm too far. It's a success, but it's too far away for me.
Well, I mean, on a 0-1, he has to be
Yeah.
able to do something. Otherwise, it would be ineffectual. Please roll a d6 for me.
That's a 2.
Take that much damage, please.
That is okay.
That hurt. What do you do? Because he basically did this, and now it's come full circle, and he's turning his arms around again.
He will get a bullet.
Okay, shoot him.
What happens? It will probably not do that much, but I have 6 rounds as far as... No, 7. 7 is a fun... You got 1 in, and then you have the 6 there. Okay, yeah. That is a critical success.
Yeah.
Oh, I can give it a hook. I can hook it. I forgot to hook it. I can give it a hook.
Yeah, you can hook it. Where's actually dodge? Oh, how
left side.
How is
below.
that actually?
It's half dex.
Half dex. Okay, well, on a 38, that's never his half dex because his dex isn't 76. He's not unusually dexterous. You hit. Please make damage.
Oh God, do I have the right die there? Oh, that's a nasty one. That's a D10.
Oh, it's a revolver.
Let's roll well, sweetie. I want to have maybe like a 10. Let's see. It's an 8 plus 2, so 10 damage.
Okay, now, number 1. You notice that, first of all, he's thrown back.
Yeah.
Because you're shooting a revolver at quite close range.
Close range.
That's a wallop. Number 2, you notice that he is beginning to bleed. And fortunately or unfortunately, it's real blood.
So much to your world, huh?
He clutches his chest and he falls down. Dottie, and of course he's dropped the chair. Dottie runs towards him and kneels next to him, and she tries to staunch the flow of blood, and she's like, this one bleeds. He really does. He's like you.
Well, that means he is real and Obviously not under the protection of the king.
Why is he not under the protection of the king if the king built this for him? Isn't that odd?
It is.
Alice, I think he's dying.
Mm-hmm. Alice will walk over to Penelope.
Okay, what do you do with Penelope?
First of all, see if she's alive and breathing.
She is alive. She has a pulse.
I would grab probably a blanket from the bed and would cover her that she's... I think we should... Should we get her out of here? I think Alice would be like just patting her face like Penelope.
You have a feeling that she may have been drugged?
Yeah, looks like.
You would expect somebody to wake up if you did this to... in fact, you've seen that when you do this to people, they wake up. But you also know that he's a history of giving Valium to people.
So...
And where do we want to take her?
That's my biggest question mark. I would love to get her back in her world, because she for sure does not deserve any of this.
Well, I would also like to return back to my world, because I don't want to work for the Brambleberries. I doubt that they will want a second Dottie, and I have to make some money somehow.
Well, we will be clever enough to make money, but we will need to find a way home with
At that
her.
moment, she takes in a sharp taking of breath. Alice, he's died. And you see that his eyes roll open and his jaw relaxes and all the muscles lose their tension.
One problem less.
You killed someone. I'm so sorry.
I am honestly not.
Are you sure?
At the moment, yes. Of all the persons, I'm quite sure he deserved every single bit of this.
You
It's
stay
honestly
here.
too easy for him.
You stay here with her. I'll be right back. And she points to what looks like a walk-in closet. Let's see
Okay.
if there are any clothes.
Okay.
So she opens the closet, she walks into it, and then you hear her rummaging around. Yes, there are some clothes for her. And she comes back with like a skirt and a shirt and stuff, and she says, well, maybe we should get her dressed first and then try and see if we can wake her up. Or maybe we should put her in the bathtub first and see if a little bit of cold
I think
shower.
that is a good idea.
So the two of you put her into the bathtub.
Before
Cold
we
water.
do that, Alice would lock the door this time.
Yeah.
So make sure that the in case someone wants in, that they need to unlock first.
Yeah. You do that. You put cold water over her. That does bring her round.
Okay.
So her eyes flutter open, and she looks at you, and she says, "Miss Baker, where?
Thank
What
goodness.
happened? Where am I?"
Well, the crazy guy was quite obsessed with you and kidnapped you.
What?
You remember meeting Albus somewhere outside your apartment, probably.
Yes. Yes, he did come by.
He kept you under.
He gave me a bottle of water of red wine as an apology. And then I remember he invited me for dinner as an apology. And we went to a little hotel, to a little There are some bits and pieces, but that can actually not have happened.
I am afraid to say it did.
And what are you doing here?
We stumbled over this place in a painting.
What? This place? In a painting?
Yep. Albus painted it as his wish, what he wanted. So he got it.
What?
And please don't freak out. We cannot just go home from here.
What do you mean?
Well, today is, and she would give the exact date.
No, that that can't be. It's March. It's March 1932.
It's winter. Last year.
How? I mean, honestly, this is more than a tall tale. This sounds crazy. I'm sorry, Miss Baker. I know that you've commissioned me and you pay my bills, but...
No. It's not about... far away from money.
But this sounds crazy.
I know it's crazy. And I hate that there are things out there that I'd rather not explain to you. Maybe just carefully, let's get you out of the bath. Let's get you clothed.
And then you hear Dottie from the outside. Alice, I think you should see this. Can you come quickly, please? Please?
She will just stay in here and she will walk outside and close the bathroom door behind her. And walk towards Dottie's voice, whatever is there.
Dottie is standing at the corner where the two windows meet.
Mm-hmm.
Only there are no two windows. There's a door there. This time it's blue. Alice? What do we do now?
Let's grab Penelope and leave.
All right. She takes the clothes into the bathroom.
While they are getting ready, Alice would have a look around. He said he was famous and rich. She would have a look around if there's money around to put in the pocket. Yeah, she would grab the money without hesitating.
It's a couple of $100. It's actually quite a lot of money.
She will take it. If we don't need it, Penelope will get it.
You hear Dottie...
And I would grab a blanket or sheet and cover Albus.
Okay, you cover Albus. Who's still lying there. He's bleeding. He's stopped bleeding in the meantime, but he's lost a lot of blood.
Yeah, at least that she doesn't have to see that on top of everything.
Good thinking. And then she leads Penelope out, and she says, "Alice, I think we're ready to go. Please lead the way."
Then, let's stick together and have a leap of faith, and see where we get out. And Alice would hold on, definitely make sure that we are all holding on to each other, and then opening the blue door.
You notice that actually Penelope still has trouble walking, so she's kind of leaning on Dottie, and Dottie is propping her up.
I think we would take Penelope then in the middle of us, so Alice one side, Dottie the other, and then it's easier to help her.
You open the blue door. The door opens outward away from you. Do you step through?
Yes, and let's hope we are not again in the cell with Sergeant Bruce looking at us. Because then we are suddenly in... How is the movie called in English? Täglich grüßt das Murmeltier.
A Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day. We don't want Groundhog Day, please.
What would Alice hope to see on the other side of the door? What would be a place where she would hope to end up in?
In front of the warehouse where we stepped outside.
So you open the door, you step through it, and you are standing in front of the warehouse. Penelope is with you. She still looks the way she looked before. She's still wearing like those clothes that Dottie threw on her. You are still wearing the clothes that you were wearing. And Dottie looks like she did, only she has 10 fingers.
And no ring on her finger?
No ring on her finger.
Let's see if the cab is still there. Probably not. You never know.
You go to the corner where you left the cab. The cab driver is sitting there, reading a paper.
Oh.
And he, oh, madam, now there is 3 of you. All right, that won't be a problem.
Thank you. We can cozy up. Back to my house?
Of course, madam. And he takes you to your house.
Mm-hmm.
You arrive.
Mm-hmm.
Do you pay him?
Yes. You get an extra tip for being there.
Okay. You put your hand in your pocket and you feel like Money MacDuck because you've got plenty of money in your in plenty of notes in your pocket.
Yeah, I'll give him just a normal tip, so
Yeah.
I will not use that money.
And then you go to the door.
And let's
You
hope
unlock the door.
I think so. Yes, we would unlock the door and step inside and hope it's our place. We will see. Is there a cat storming at us?
There is a cat, and she's looking at you, and she's going backwards, and she's in full bottle brush mode.
Is it our cat or is it?
It is Maeve the Great.
Okay.
Teresa's like, Maeve, what is it? Oh, madam, I'm so sorry.
No worries. Could you make us a kettle of tea, please?
Of course. And then she says, oh, Maeve, what is it? And she picks up Maeve. She says, what is it? It's Miss Alice. And then Maeve is trying to escape, and she scratches her throat. She actually accidentally drops her, and then Maeve walks towards you very, very cautiously, and then she sits down, and then she pushes forward her face towards you and begins to sniff.
I will kneel down and we'll carefully probably hold out the hand, not really touching her, just like, I know we smell like him. We've been in places I would not like to describe to you. You warned us, and I did not listen.
She comes closer and she sniffs your hand, and then she gets up on her hind paws and she puts her front paws on your knee. And she purrs very loudly.
I'll give her a little scritch if she lets me to.
Yeah, and then she goes over to Dottie, headbutts her as if to check if she's okay. Dottie also gives her scritches. And then she goes ahead into the salon in front of you.
We would follow, because that would be the place where we would plonk ourselves and give Penelope, like, time to settle. And I would go over to the kitchen and pick up the paper, because it should still be there, I suspect. Just want to make sure it's the right date.
It's 25th of March, Friday. 1932, to be precise.
Okay, I'll bring the paper over to me and put it in front of Dottie as well, and also Penelope. So it worked that we are out again. We will bring
Dottie
you home.
gets up and you see that she goes to her knitting, and she takes out a needle, not a knitting needle, but one of the small ones, and you see that she turns away from you, facing the two of you. Basically, she's turning so that you can see her, but Penelope can't, and she basically takes a pin and pricks her fingertip.
Yeah.
And you can see that it starts bleeding. Okay. And then she sucks on it, and then she nods to you.
Penelope, we will bring you back home. You just need to know you went missing for quite a long while. The police is looking for you. We should at least tell them that you are back. I'm not sure what we can tell them where you were. Except that Albus Craig kidnapped you and we found you.
I still have some money. If you could take me to a hotel, I don't really want to stay at home on my own at the moment.
If you want, you can also stay here for the night. And please call me Alice after all that's happened.
If that is possible, then I would really like to take you up on your offer.
Yes, then we can also have a quiet talk about at least what we know, if you want to know. The only thing I can tell you, Albus is not able to get to you anymore, so you are definitely safe.
How can you be so sure? He got to me once.
Well, he is not among us anymore.
Did he die?
Yes.
You see something like relief on her face, but that's then very quickly replaced by almost like this. She feels kind of embarrassed that she would feel about another person's death like that.
Honestly, he kind of deserved it. He's gone through so many women before you.
She looks to the side and pulls up her eyebrows.
He was jealous of your talent. So jealous, because he doesn't have talent. At least not in art.
I'm not sure if I will ever paint again.
Well, that is on you to decide. Today, we just rest.
And in the meantime, Teresa has served tea very quietly, and Dottie has been pouring, and she hands tea to everybody. And you see that she kind of like places like 3 sugar lumps into Penelope's, and she keeps stirring it so that the sugar really dissolves. She says, "You should drink this. It's going to be really sweet, but it's going to be good for you." And she does, and the sugar does do what you want it to do, so it does give her some kind of endorphins and calms her down. Well, not calms her down, but kind of like gives her this satisfied feeling. And we shall leave it there.
Oh, wow.
And you can increase your occult, your knowledge Cthulhu by 10.
Oh God, do we want that?
Yes, you don't get a chance. Dottie's now at 45.
Yeah, me too.
Wow. Yes.
Holy hell. Well, thank you for that. Thank you everyone listening in. I hope you enjoyed the ride. So far, I'm still hesitant to believe it's over.
I hope you enjoyed it.
I suffered in a good way.
Okay, that's good to know.
And honestly, I'm very happy that we were able to find her, because I kind of hope that she is not dead. And because Penelope definitely is the innocent victim in all of this insanity.
She's a very innocent victim. Yeah.
And that is really cool. Yeah, let's see you next week.
Okay, then thank you all for listening, for watching, for keeping up with us, and giving us all your feedback. We really love reading your comments, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.